Today are Pastor Andy and Kanesh.
Yes, hello everyone, and welcome to X-Teens Chat. It's been so long since we last met because as X-Teens, we recently had a gathering. That's right, all the way in Cameron's, Malaysia, and we miss all of you. And today we are back for a very good episode of X-Teens Chat. Unfortunately, we have Pastor Andy right next to me, lagging. Lagging because he always say that I never pay my internet bills. Yes, karma has struck him today. He didn't pay his internet bills. So he'll join us later once he's done paying his bills, and we'll continue on with our program. But I want to invite our guest for today. Once again, we're talking about addiction, all right? And the motive is to help people break through addiction. But did you know that once upon a time, I thought the addiction is all about pornography, masturbation, smoking, gambling, and all that, right? But today we would like to try to uncover different types of addiction that is maybe more relevant and more relatable to all of you teenagers watching our programs right now or later. Okay, so we have someone very special with us. He is a pastor in X Church. He leads a church somewhere south of KL called Cyberjaya. So put your hands together and help me welcome Pastor Jack Ling.
Yo, good to be here. Thank you.
Hey, very good to have you around here. Yes, but I have a question. Like, what qualifies you to talk about addiction? Are you like addict yourself?
I think maybe I was addicted to something before, but also I just spoke to my wife.
Yeah.
She works for Linnets, and she deals with different things about mental health, and she did also talk to me a little bit about addiction, and I did some research myself. So just for today, not expert lah, but I think I have something to contribute.
Wow. Okay. Nice. But yes, so Pastor Jack champions a church plant in Cyberjaya, and I think as a pastor, you naturally also walk with people through their journey, and everyone has their own journey, right? Probably one or two of them might be going through this season or of addiction and all that. So yes, it's very, very good to have you with us. I think you're also a teacher in school, right?
Yes, I'm a teacher in one of the best schools in Malaysia, Victory Academy. Yes.
So very, very qualified to speak to all of you teenagers. Some of you might even know him. Okay, but before we move on, very quickly, if you have any questions at all regarding addiction, or when you hear Pastor Jack sharing his stories and stuff like that, you would like to ask a question anonymously, there is a Slido link, all right, as shown on the screen. There's a QR code. Just scan it. You can ask us any questions at all, and we'll attempt to answer them later without judgment, all right? Because you can ask as an anonymous person. Okay, cool. But Pastor Jack, earlier I mentioned, right? I don't know. I grew up in an era where I guess life was simpler, lah. And my definition, or at least the people around my era, we grew up with things like porn, magazine videos, and all that, right? And then naturally it led to things like masturbation. Other than that, in my group of school friends I hang with, we talk about things like smoking, we talk about fighting, gangsterism, all that, right? Then we talk about drinking, and sometimes even underage drinking, and all this is like a version of addiction to us. But now, you know, I'm exposed to things like, wow, social media also can be a form of addiction, you see? And things like some people are addicted to self-harming. Well, not like stabbing themselves kind of self-harming, like they peel their nails, they bite their nails, and it's not just small, you know, like they actually injure themselves and they like it. Recently I was talking to someone, and her form of addiction is like scalping their hair, you know, and they feel good. So I don't know, it's different these days. But what do you have to say about that? did the definition of addiction change, or people are exploring different things these days due to media and all that? What do you have to say?
Yeah. So I think you brought up a good point. Life was simpler back then, also because the internet wasn't as fast. We were doing the modem, right? And someone just told me it was called jaring. So anyway, there was
That's
there was
the
not
internet that Pastor Andy uses now. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
it's not there's not so much information, so now there's an overload of information and everyone is learning something from somewhere, and unfortunately even the bad stuff, everyone is exposed to it, and so they watch and learn and try, but I mean, it's a good thing. Information is good, right? Because you can actually benefit from it. You have a lot more information now, but unfortunately even the negative stuff comes, so that's why things have changed so much. But the definition of addiction, I think, has not really changed. If you go by the book, you go by who gets to define it, then for example, just read up a little bit that it's actually a medical term. Like when you talk about addiction, if you go to a doctor, they will tell you whether really there's an addiction or not. Because what I just read, a simple definition is that as long as it's a behavior that you find difficult to control and it leads to destruction, right, and harm, either you harm yourself or you harm other people, that I guess just now we mentioned death, but I don't think it necessarily leads to death, but it's negative and destructive, negative consequences. So that's the definition of addiction. So anything you do that leads to negative consequences that will eventually lead to destruction, damaging, harmful, then it is addiction. So
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so I guess you kind of maybe you want to list down what you're thinking is addiction and go like, is this actually leading me towards negative consequences? Am I facing negative consequences when I do these things, or is it beneficial, like it helps me or it helps other people? All right, then you get to say whether this addiction or not. And according to the medical world, again, when you use the word addiction, it's always a negative thing.
Okay.
Ah,
Wow. Okay. Wow. Hey, that's very interesting to know. But before we head on further, I want to welcome back Pastor Andy.
yeah.
Finally paid your bills. I get to say it on you this time.
Yo.
Yo.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, very clear.
Can you see me? Can you hear me? All right, great. I'm back. Paid my internet bill, and it's not jarring anymore. Yeah.
Last time jarring has this very famous sound, right? Tee, 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 tee. And then it flops at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last time, those days, our game were like Snake, right? Snake on the computer. Wow. Before the mobile one. Okay. Thanks for sharing that, Pastor Jack. And you mentioned that addiction is something that we do repetitively, and then it also causes damage and harm, right? Okay, but we're gonna play an activity to see what you are addicted to. Wow. Okay. So we're gonna go through a short series of questions, just like maybe two options. You just choose one. Okay, like for example, are you addicted to Carnage or Pastor Andy, and you choose one. Okay, and maybe we can talk a little bit about that. Okay, whichever answer you chose just now is wrong. Okay, so that's just a demo. But yes, all of you tuning in, watching, we hope that you participate as well. And we will look at your comments and we will interact with you. Okay, cool. Now, on the screen, yes, which is more addictive to you and also those who are watching? Let us know. All right, number one, ice cream or chocolate? Wow.
I would say,
Wow.
I would say chocolate.
Chocolate is your thing, huh?
I like both, but I think I take more chocolate than ice cream.
The best thing is to take chocolate ice cream. Take that. I think earlier you said addiction. I mean, at least the medical definition, right, is that it has to be negative. Right?
Yes.
Ice cream and chocolate doesn't seem negative, right? So it doesn't count as addiction. But you eat too much, it harms you, right?
It can harm you. Bitter chocolate.
Chocolate. Okay, nice. Do you have a favorite chocolate?
Not too sure, but chocolate with I mean, some bitter chocolate is good. Sometimes chocolate with liquor is quite addictive also.
Okay. All right, next one. Instagram or texting? I don't know why the organizer put this here, but
And they're almost the same thing.
no, Instagram is
Both also you have to
I
use.
think Instagram is more like watching stories and then you see visuals, you swipe. I can watch TikTok these days.
Nowadays,
Like crazy, man.
nowadays Instagram is full of like reels, like full of videos.
Oh yeah.
Like TikTok, right? You keep watching and watching.
It's pretty
Yeah.
good, actually. Some of them are nice. And I don't know, maybe some are addicted to texting, right? Probably not you, like at your age.
It's like texting is like WhatsApp lah, right? Is it?
Yeah.
Texting,
Chatting,
Okay.
texting.
wow, this one very complicated lah. The answer, I would say both also it can get you hooked because like texting sometimes I have no choice lah. People text me, I text back lah. So a lot of people text me. Let's say so I feel the obligation to text back. So
Right.
that is already I guess you can call that addiction. But Instagram is the type you just keep scrolling, right? And you like non-stop scrolling. That's the dangerous thing lah.
Wow.
So I don't know what did I answer.
So we have Nicholas saying that he's addicted to texting more than Instagram, while there's someone Faith say that she's addicted to Instagram more than texting, but she says she's a multitasker anyway. Okay, next. Watching Netflix or watching football? I don't know if you're a football person. Are you?
Depends.
Depends if you're.
So I actually try to watch the Malaysian football team, which they're playing tonight. They're playing tonight. So but then I would say Netflix because although I don't watch a lot of Netflix, but I would say Netflix because I don't really have a channel to watch football.
Okay, fair enough. This time we go for the Pastor Andy lah. Pastor is like, addicted. Yes. Addicted on a negative level.
Addicted to
For
what?
Liverpool. Okay.
You really be addicted, right? Because it doesn't happen often enough.
Okay, watch.
And then like sometimes they don't play for 2 weeks or 1 month. They literally don't play, and you can't watch anything, and you don't get with.
So that's where you.
So it doesn't fit the definition of addiction, yeah.
Okay.
But Netflix is like you keep wanting to know what happened next,
Correct. Is the film guys are the one that's making us addicted to shows.
Yeah.
Especially.
Anyway, Pastor Jack, were you referring to Malaysia versus Thailand?
Yes. Tonight.
Tonight,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next. Number 4. Being alone or being in the crowd.
Addicted.
Some people are actually addicted to being alone. I don't know. Not like a whole introvert extrovert topic lah, but it's just I don't know.
I like to hang out with people, but I also enjoy being alone. So I guess I can say alone. Sometimes I don't hang out with people when I should be. I rather stay home than this sometimes.
Well, maybe the question is quite off also. But yeah. I know people who likes to always be outside, don't want to go home. Maybe that's addiction. I'm not sure. Always in a shopping mall. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Last one, Last one. Let's see if anyone answered that. Yeah, you see, someone's like, I love being lonely. I told you, addiction of being alone exists. All right, next one, last. Addiction of how you look or how you sound. This one pretty deep, eh?
Addicted means I actually like something about myself. I like the way I sound, or I like the way I look. How I would say none. None. None of these.
Ayo, kasihan, not until like that lah. I think addiction, like, you know, you wake up like very vain lah, like you go to the mirror, and if you get like one spot people, you don't dare to go out because, you know, maybe you're afraid of judgment or that, but you have to be on your tip top.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of
I think in terms of, I guess I'll change the word to obsession a bit, maybe. Like I am obsessed to want to look good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
do I look in the mirror?
Obsession. Yes. Let me see if anyone answered that. You see? Wow. Someone said addiction.
I find it hard, but
yeah.
how I sound.
How about you, Pastor? Since you have,
Is there such a thing? I think it'll be how I sound lah. If you really want to stretch the definition, because how I look, okay. I mean, of course, we all want to look good, but how I sound is like, because I sing and sometimes I do recording, right?
okay.
I think after recording or something, and I listen back, I think I criticize myself more
Okay.
about how I sound than anything. So it's not really addiction, but I guess it bothers me more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Anyway, not saying that this. Okay. Yeah. How about both? Yeah, they're saying it's both. Okay, but not saying that this is like a form of addiction or that. But people are probably obsessed, right? Based on Pastor Jack's definition and all that. Yes. That's all for activity. How are you guys doing? Let me see. Yeah, we have people answering questions. Now, once again, we're talking on the topic of addiction. All of you tuning in. And if you have any questions at all regarding addiction or how to break free of certain things, or if you'd like to share some of your stories, remember that there's a Slido link or a QR code on the screen. You can go there and talk to us as an anonymous person. We'll respond to it. And if you've got any questions, right, we will attempt to answer them at least by the end of today's session. All we want to do is to make sure that you are comfortable sharing your stories if you like to, but you also get help at least through this channel. Okay, cool. So, Pastor Jack, one of the reason why we have topic like this, right, like especially on this topic of addiction, is because recently, like I mentioned earlier, right, we went for a youth camp, right? As ex-teens, we went together, and I think during this kind of camp is where people they open up, right? And so a lot of people open up about their struggles in various forms. Some came out for prayer, some came out to even actually openly share that they are struggling with certain things. And then they all left camp after that. It's only a 3 days event. And I think it's cool that they open up, but I feel that maybe there should be a platform where they actually learn how to get out of this kind of addiction. Not that this platform answers all the questions, but it is a platform. So what are some of the practical ways or ways that people, who are struggling with whatever they're going through, that they can step by step overcome addiction?
Yep. So that's a good question. And so I'm just thinking practical ways. Definitely one of it is if you realize you have addiction, first of all, you got to determine whether it is really addiction or not, right? But if you are able to determine that, then definitely don't ever try to do that alone. Don't try to overcome it alone. You definitely need someone to help you. There are many forms, right, of help. If you believe in God, first one you can go to is pray, ask God, right? Otherwise, there's also a lot of people who do counseling. Like, for example, my wife, she works in Linettes, and that's they inspire life, all right? So they want people to live a good life, and they are ready to, listen and counsel. So these are a few things. One thing she told me, all right, because I had a conversation with Jill, my wife, Dr. Jill, for some of you who know her. And so she said, actually, one of the things that people, why they have addiction is because they're actually coping with something. So they're coping with something, whatever it is, right? It could be insecurity about something. Maybe they're hurt, or maybe they went through some form of abuse. But that is the root of the addiction. So it's good to be able to identify the root of it. And once you identify, then maybe you can tackle the root instead of just the addiction, which is the expression of your pain. So that's something she told me. So that's I don't know how practical that is, but get help lah. Seek help. And a few more other things. I was doing this research about it from a Christian point of view also. So there's this thing called the power of four. Have you heard of it? The power of four. So what it means is the power of four, meaning if you engage with the Bible, which we call it the Word of God, right? Because you go to God, you ask for His Word, then you read the Bible. If you read the Bible only once or twice in a week, engage with this. When you say engage, means not just read lah. You actually try and study the Bible. But if you do that once or twice a week, it does not make a lot of impact. But somehow, according to this research, the Center of Bible Engagement Research is called, if you hit 4 times a week of engagement with the Bible, something happens. Something crazy happens. So they even have stats about like how people who are addicted to porn, 50%, they will stop doing it, or lessen. And then a few different stats about gambling even, and alcohol. So a big significant change happens when somebody actually engages with the Word of God at least 4 times a week. But that's, I don't know whether that's quite a lot of work in a sense, right, for someone to do. But that's something that I researched, and I find that quite interesting. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Pastor. Wow. Pastor Andy is recently addicted to a new tool that he has found. Pretty cool.
What is it?
It's a B-reel.
Don't tell lah. After, yeah.
Now everyone knows it. Is it. You're gonna get more followers on this, Pastor.
No lah. Then after people got more things to get addicted to, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, but the four thing is quite powerful, right? I think maybe that's how addiction starts also. Like, if someone can spend 4 days a week reading the Bible, and then they get addicted to the Word of God in that context. Maybe addiction starts that way also, when people feel good.
I want to add on something. I put this down on my notes here. So just now we defined addiction, right? And then you mentioned, can we be addicted to God? Can we be addicted to the Bible or something good? Like maybe even like exercise. It's positive stuff, right? Can I be addicted to exercise or like healthy food, maybe, right? But if you go again by the book, by the medical people, addiction is a negative word. Like, in a sense, they are saying don't use that word on good stuff because you confuse people.
Okay.
And so they say if it's something good and you do it regularly and you love it and you get a kick out of it, it's not called addiction, it's called good habits.
Habits, right.
Good habits, yeah. You do it every day. Like brush your teeth every day. Are you addicted? I mean, in a sense, it's a good habit you practice every day. So determine what is a negative thing, then that's addiction, right? And then if it's a repetitive good thing, don't call it addiction, call it good habits. I'm actually reading the Bible every day.
Right.
Hey, okay, it's a good habit. Yeah.
Right. That's nice. So bad habits, addiction, like in that sense.
In that way, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. So is it then, some people do this a lot. I think me also. Is it then wise to I know earlier you shared that there's some ways to battle addiction, like speaking to people and all that, right? We get back to that in a bit. But is it wise to replace our addictions, our bad habits with good habits? Is that also a way to go? Or like what do you think?
I think it depends, like maybe if you can put some examples. So let's say you're addicted to online shopping, let's say. Whatever money you have, you see the thing, you just feel like want to buy it. It's probably not useful to you anyway, but you feel fancy or whatever, you keep buying, and then your money keeps going out, right? And you are broke easily, right? So that's addiction in a sense. It leads to destruction. Why? Because financially you're going to be so weak. You're losing money, or maybe in debt, and this leads. If you're a teenager, you probably don't have a credit card yet. But when you move towards that adulthood, and you're so used to just buying anytime you like, then when you have a credit card, oh man, that's it, man. You're going to keep swiping it, or clicking that button, and then you're going to be in debt, and that is destructive. Because seriously, if you are in debt all the time, you feel like, man, I just want to disappear from the face of this earth, all right? Because it's so stressful. So that is a bad habit, and that it led to addiction. But let's say, so how you want to replace that with good habits? Let's say, good things. For example, read the Bible, or more practical. Let's say you're not a Christian. What do? You go run, go run and exercise and get healthy. I think yes, definitely. Doing some of this good stuff, because you are then investing the time into all these good things, right? Then you don't have time for the bad stuff, right? In a way, just simply in a simple way talking, because if you have so much time, that's where you start to find stuff to do, right? And so therefore, you allow yourself to go into negative stuff. Then you occupy your time with more of those things, But you occupy yourself with the healthier things. If you want to, let's say, link it, let's say, because it's all talking about financial, and buying, then maybe you learn about investments instead. Maybe you learn about how do I make money instead of losing money, and get into the habit of saving, and maybe buying stocks instead of your makeup, your cosmetics, then I guess it does balance out. I believe, just theoretically speaking, sounds like a good thing. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
But like, say teenagers, they don't do investments, so what they do? Save money. Donate.
Maybe, I don't know.
Donate.
Learn a new skill. Invest the time in learning a new skill, perhaps.
Yeah. Give your offering.
Yeah. Buy a musical instrument and learn how to play it.
Yeah, that's good. Actually, learn to save up to buy something valuable. Yeah.
That's good. Some of our teenagers learn how to bake, and sometimes when we have fundraisings, it's the teenagers that they bake and they make money out of it. Yeah, pretty cool.
Actually, there are young people, like teenagers, who can invest lah. This one of our team, right? She actually runs a business. She bakes like cakes for pets, not for humans, but for people to feed their pets.
Wow.
And it's business. So
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty
think
money
that's
making,
healthy.
like dog's birthday and all. They have a dog's cake.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
business.
so it's pretty insane. Yeah.
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 Awesome. Awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Whether we want to talk about other examples, because I'm just giving an example of like online shopping addiction, and that versus that would be business, learning to do business, right? And good habits.
Yeah.
So would you want to address any other like addiction that that you know the teens are probably struggling with a bit more? Like say, I don't know, is self-harm something?
maybe,
Rampant?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it a form of addiction? And yeah, if it is, maybe we can talk about that. Is that considered an addiction? If someone,
I guess
I don't know, harm, yeah.
I guess that doesn't need to be an addiction, meaning even if you do it once, it's already damaging. Right? You're damaging your skin,
Mm.
your body.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to repeat another time, that's perhaps not really addiction, but if you repeatedly go for it and then you get a kick out of it, I don't know, then it becomes it will lead to crazy damage, quite heavy damage, and eventually, something more horrible. Again, I guess that one you really got to go with what are they coping with? What is it that that's really hurting them? That they're hurting themselves now. So, what's the counter to that? Right? Getting into a good habit. I don't know. And that one, I think you better go and talk to somebody first. Yeah.
Right. So it's usually a coping mechanism to be addicted to something, because that's how you put it in the beginning, right? Like people do something in a reaction of something that they're not comfortable with, or something that they can't win. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And you ended earlier, I think, by going to talk to someone about it, right? So is there like the right person to talk to, right? Imagine a teenager and they genuinely would like to seek help. Naturally, we would say, people always say things like, "Oh, speak to your parents about it." They're not going to speak to their parents about it, right? Some of these things are also shameful, right? Is that like, how do you find the right person to speak to, and knowing that if you are able to speak to that person, you don't get judged, and you can also gain trust. You can trust that person, and when you speak to someone, you understand at least someone will not be like, "Hey, this fella," So how do you identify this kind of person?
But it's not so easy, right, to just get someone to talk to, because generally speaking, I think everyone is still learning how to listen properly, right? I mean, I went through this course with Pastor Andy. It's called Our Community Listens, and the coach is telling us, you guys don't go to school to learn how to listen to somebody. It's already a difficult thing to do in the first place. So to find someone, even if it's the best pastor in the world, to share my issue is not going to be easy, because that pastor also never learned how to listen professionally, So I guess, for myself, just realizing that, I decided for myself, like, if no one else is going to listen, I got to learn how to listen. At least, I guess we might need to start with ourselves first. Like, maybe I should listen to someone. And in that, maybe I can get some help as well, just being helpful to someone. But anyway, that's just another topic altogether. But basically, we're looking for someone who's able to listen to you, right? But if you need help, actually, like professionally, I think it's worth going for a counselor. Like go and look out for a counselor from an organization that offers that. I know Focus on the Family does it. I know, like for example, Linnets. We're trying to set up more counseling, and people can come and talk. So I think it's worth actually doing that if you really need that kind of help. But other than that, if you are, you're looking for someone to speak to, I guess, from my own experience, when I was looking for someone, in fact, I wasn't really looking for someone. I was having problems. Like I was in darkness. I was living a life that probably wasn't pleasing to God. And this was way younger, maybe after teenage years. But I didn't know what to do. So I don't know where to go and what to do. Nobody knows. Nobody told me anything. Nobody knows what I was going through. But one day, I got a shock. I got a shock from God, I believe. Like he kind of just spoke to me. Like I've not heard God audibly much, but this was just one of those times I actually heard and God was saying, "You need to go talk to someone." And he actually named the person to me, and he told me, "Talk to Pastor Kenneth," because I was so into my problems and troubles. Right, I think there was no way already. So I think God wanted to rescue me, and he actually, I actually heard that, it's God saying, "Go and speak to Pastor Kenneth." So I guess one way is that God will show you who to talk to, and that'll be probably the best person. So I went to Pastor Kenneth, and I did share with him. I said, "Can you help me out?" And at that time, he didn't have many people to talk to yet, in the sense to guide and lead. So so that's how I started the relationship there. But the other thing I would say, like practically, I believe that you have been placed in a position, in a area, in a place, wherever you are, in school maybe, if you're in church, but if you have no other place, you're at home. So if there's no one else really, your parents are definitely the people you can talk to, although many of you won't agree. But a person who has authority in your life is a good sign. Whether that person is skilled at listening or not, that's another issue, right? Because that's what we all struggle with. But definitely a person who has authority in your life is a good sign of who we can go to. So if it's not your parents that you're comfortable to talk with, then in school, go ahead and approach a teacher that you feel comfortable to talk to. All right. Of course, I would guide. If you are a girl, go to a female teacher lah. And if you are a guy, then you go to a male teacher. All right. But if there's no other choice, it's fine. Go talk to a female teacher. Other than that, in church, thank God, we have we do leadership in church. So there's a leader that's placed in your life. Definitely, he's not going to be perfect, but that's the person that has been placed over your life. I think that's a good indication. Like maybe I can talk to this person. But peers, you want to be careful what you say to them, right? Because they are not at the maturity to be able to handle your situation, and it might really go haywire from there. So be careful what you share with your peers. All right. I think that's what I would say.
Yeah. Hey. So let's just say I have some kind of addiction, and you say we're talking about how it would be good to find someone to talk to, right? And then usually someone that has authority, someone who has wisdom, maturity, someone you trust. If I flip it around, right? For example, let's just say you are the person that this young person trusts, and then this young person shares with you their addictions or their struggles. Do you share with your parents? What do you do with that? Like, because if you're the only person who knows, then maybe you're the only person that carries that burden as well, right? and then the person is obviously someone's child, like what's the right thing to do? I'm also
Yeah.
asking this question not just for the benefit of the parent or someone in the team, but also for the young person when they choose to tell someone something. I don't know, because they probably expect you to never tell anyone, no matter what, because they trust you. And sometimes we don't tell because we are afraid that we will get trust. The young person will never tell you again. So it's to me, it's very tricky. I don't know. Maybe you can share on like what you think is the right thing to do.
That's really good. Actually, while you were asking the question, I feel like I want to backtrack a little bit and say, find someone to talk to. And I mean, if you are, if you're a Christian, you're a believer, and even if you're not a believer, let's say, right? I would say, I guess as a pastor, actually you can talk to God. So maybe the first person you talk to about your addiction should be God lah. You say, God, I'm actually, obsessed with this thing, I'm addicted. I believe that is powerful, and that's a good first step. Just bring it to God. All right? And like I said earlier, who knows, he might just lead you to someone, the right person to speak to. All right? But anyway, okay, come back to Pastor Andy's question. What do I do? Let's say someone shares with me so I've also learned through the years not to simply promise people when they say, hey, Pastor Jack, I'm going to tell you this, but please don't tell anyone. I will not be so quick to promise, yes, I will not. Actually, I will say, hold on. Depends what you tell me. And what you tell me, and if I need to tell some people about it, meaning not just anyone, but some people who can help with the situation, and it has to be your parents, I might. All right? So I'm going to be upfront and say, that's what I'm going to do. I can't promise you I won't tell anyone. But I can assure you I won't gossip about it. I won't go around, being a CNN newscaster or whatever. Right? So, yeah, but I will say I can't promise you not to tell anyone because I might need to speak to someone else because I don't think I have all the answers to your problem.
Right.
Yeah, so that's how I would approach it. But I don't know last time that people whether they still want to share with me. But most times they're okay,
Right.
Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that makes sense because I think like earlier I mentioned, if you always have to keep it to yourself, then you become the only person carry the burden, and it can be a problem when you may not be the best person to help. And if the heart is to help. I want to help. The whole reason of me to you can help. But if I'm the only person who know and that itself is not helpful to you, then I must do the most helpful thing to you, which is it could be it may not always be parents as the first person you tell to. It could be a professional, an expert, a pastor, anyone. And I as a pastor of a youth ministry, I have parents who asked me before, like, hey, pastor, if our children trust you and need us so much, and then they tell you something, will you tell us? And this was asked in a forum, right? I had to give an answer straight away. And what I said was like, I will tell you, but you have to trust me on when I tell you and how much I tell you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's right to withhold also completely from the parent. But I ask the parent for trust. Like, you need to trust me to decide when is the best time to tell you. That means I may not tell you immediately. I may tell you 1 month later. And I may also have to choose how much to tell you. But I will tell you lah. I will not leave you in the dark. So I think, because neither can I promise the parent, I will tell you everything, don't worry. Because that may not be the best thing to do also. Because the parent may not be ready for certain information. So anyway, So those are my thoughts lah, since you asked.
Yeah, that's a good thought.
Yeah, Ganesh, how about you? So many things tell you so many things.
I trust everyone lah. Yeah, we do talk. Yeah. So, just checking if there's any questions from people, right? There's none on YouTube.
Slido?
Yeah. Not on Slido. Not on Slido as well. Cool. If you've got any questions and you're tuning in, just quickly scan through the QR code on the top left corner of your screen and type out your question. We will attempt to answer them. If you can't answer them like here, right? We'll probably find a way to answer them. Maybe on our Insta stories. You can catch us on our socials. Yes, but I think it's been amazing. The past hour, right? Talking to Pastor Jack and Pastor Andy, sharing. In fact, that question is really good, lah. I think a lot of teams, they have this false expectation of what the word trust is, lah. When they say, "Hey, you promise, and then they really keep you to it, right? But the truth is sometimes we couldn't keep things to ourselves, and then once we tell to people and gone, the relationship between a leader or a person in authority with the teenager is just broken. Awesome. Okay. Just last check. So there's no questions at the moment. I think we can call it a day. Pastor Andy, any last thoughts on battling addiction? We covered quite a lot today.
Okay. I would say, I mean, and this is not based on the strict definition of addiction, which we heard from Pastor Jack, and I'm sure you guys can do your own research on what addiction really is, but in a very not so strict and rigid way of defining addiction, I would say that I do believe that most of us, if not all of us, human beings, we're addicted to something in some way. There is something that we rely and depend on more than we should, or something that we feel we need. Like the feeling is that we need it, but actually we don't. And that can also be some and a definition of addiction also. So I think we all are addicted to something in some way, which means, I say that to say that, you know what? You are not weird. You are not a freak. You are like, the only one out there dealing or battling with some form of addiction. Okay. Of course, some addictions are lighter. Some are much more deeper. You're much more deeper into it already. But I do want to say, and for me, because I don't want anyone out there to feel like, man, I'm horrible. I'm weird. No one can help me. It's hopeless. I'm just too deep into it. No, we are all battling something. So a new one's holier than you. So we're all struggling with something, and I think that's why it's so important that we don't deal with this alone, and that you need to talk to someone. And because there's different degrees of addiction, kind of help you need to receive may be different. So for some, just talking to a friend and it's done. Like, you're able to overcome. For some, you may need to talk to your parents, and others, you may need to actually see a professional who is trained for many years to help you with your issues. And there's no shame in any of it, because at the end of the day, we all just want to see you get better, get out of this false dependency on something that you don't really need in your life, and there's help. And for those who believe in the power of prayer, for those who believe in God, I know sometimes it feels so cliche, right? Yeah, just pray and you'll be okay. Or like, maybe sometimes you say too much and it sounds meaningless already. But I also want to say, don't underestimate the power of prayer. It is powerful. Not so much because the prayer is powerful, but because of the person you pray to, which is God. He is powerful, and He is more powerful than any addiction. So don't estimate the prayer. The next time someone tells you, pray about it. Maybe the person say it in a very cliche way, but for you who's receiving it, you take it seriously. I'm going to pray, and I'm going to take this seriously. I'm going to somebody, and so we are here to help. Ex-teens, the ministry, our church. We do have some professionals, some experts. We also have pastors. We also have teachers. We also have counselors. There's different people you can come and approach. So yeah, let us know. You know how to reach us. Through our social media, or if you physically want to come and visit us, that will be awesome. Yep. So that's me. Thank you, Kane.
All right, thanks, Pastor Andy, and thank you once again, Pastor Jack, for being with us in ATChat today to talk about battling addiction. I think that's all we have for you for ATChat this week. We have a few more episodes coming up in October. Follow us on all socials so you know what's happening in X-Teens. Other than that, I'll see you next time. See you guys. Bye-bye.